All right, so we got to talk to Tad Hunt today. Tad is working on an amazing project developing toilets for the third world. He's a website programmer. We didn't get to talk to him about coding. We do want to tell you some of the great things going on in Durham this week. Chris Vitiello was unable to be with us, but in Chris's honor, we'll talk dance Friday, February 13th. This is actually happening in Chapel Hill at Keenan Hall. It's called The Waits. It was originally in the Carrack. If you did not get a chance to see it, Friday the 13th. Also, Friday the 13th, if you're looking for Valentine's plans, I know Ellen Chompy will be singing jazz cabaret, I believe, at the Regulator Bookshop. That should be super cool. And then Wednesday, February 18th, Records Collecting Dust at Motorco. It's a documentary film about music and records. Should be really interesting for our people. Check us out on the Clarion Content YouTube channel at clarioncontentmedia.com. Follow us on Twitter at Clarion Content. Follow our buddy Josh Hart, JoshHardt, or Made with Heart. He's on Twitter and Instagram, as are we. And we love working with you, Durham. We curate your city. Thanks a lot. Welcome. We're back with Sights on the City in a kind of cold Durham day. This is my buddy Tad Hunt. Lucky for us, we're sitting in the
Hi there.
Warm Makery studios. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Oh, fantastic. Really stoked. Josh is wandering around on the other side of the camera somewhere. You can see the Valentine's themes colors in Makery, the Makery here. And of course, the Makery is all this handmade stuff. We sat here with Justin and had a fantastic time. It was Josh's idea, though, to bring Tad on, and Tad is involved in a million interesting things in Durham, and beyond Durham.
Yeah, I'm very, very lucky to be as busy as I am.
Sweet.
And it's been nice to work with the people around in Durham as well. So it's
fantastic. He's a Makery Studio member, and we met a new Makery Studio person today. We're always meeting people and having interesting conversations.
Yeah.
If you follow Tad on Twitter, what's your Twitter?
It's Thaddeus Hunt. Which is, I go by Tad, but you can call me Thaddeus as well.
Right. If you follow him on Twitter, you can follow a bit of the conversation around Makery Studio. We were originally going to talk about coding because Tad is a programmer. Is that fair to say?
I would say I'm a web developer, but I definitely work with code for sure.
I'm a Luddite, so the distinction is fairly well lost on me, but I'm working on it. But we decided, actually, you're involved with something much more interesting, and I told Josh we were going to talk toilets, and Josh was like, toilets? Yeah. And I was like, no, actually, really, Tad has an amazing connection to toilets, and a world-changing possibility, really, even involved with what's going on with toilets. So maybe you could just give us a little bit of that background?
Yeah, absolutely. This last, I'd say it was about a year ago, I was at a party in Durham, and
naturally,
I met a neighbor who I had run into a bunch of times, but it turns out that he was actually he worked at RTI in the Triangle, and it turns out that he was working on this project to build a better toilet. And once I started asking more about it, obviously I was intrigued, not your usual party conversation.
Right. I mean, and what does it mean to build a better toilet? We're not talking like Homer Simpson's on the can here, and we want to make it softer and more comfortable or something.
No. This was actually once I did some digging and obviously asking more questions, it turns out that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation had started this program called the Build a Better Toilet Initiative, and had volunteered a bunch of people, institutions, schools, engineers, all across the board to step up to this challenge to try and create a toilet that actually not only gives people in other countries a safe place to relieve themselves, but also go that step further and actually handle all of the waste that comes with it.
And that's really an important crux. I don't know if people know, but human waste is probably one of the leading causes of disease, health,
Absolutely.
illness problems in what we call the less developed world.
Yeah, and if you go to other countries like India, for instance, they don't even have the infrastructure. So in a lot of cases, when we use a toilet here in the States, I mean, you flush it, it goes away. You don't think about what happens to it afterwards. You're
Not
just
at all.
glad it's gone and you can get on with your day. Whereas their situation in a lot of other countries, obviously, they don't even have plumbing. So it's kind of one of those things where they don't even have the opportunity to. So all you end up with is the waste.
I mean, and I think it's really important for people to kind of confront that harshly. I mean, you've been to India, obviously, multiple times. I mean, even when I myself lived in Mexico, when you wipe your bum, you don't put it in the toilet, you put it in the trash can next to the toilet, because their plumbing system, at least they have one, but it's primitive enough that paper would cause a tremendous problem. And I just don't think Americans realize, like, we're talking in a huge chunk of the world, people are, for all intents and purposes, pooping in the street or in open latrines, the same thing that runs through alleyways by their drinking water.
Yeah. I mean, it's in the millions easily,
The hundreds of millions.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's an extraordinarily drastic problem that up until now hadn't been. I mean, it had been acknowledged, but it hadn't been dealt with. And this project went forward to try and solve that. And they actually, because I'm a web
Does
developer.
it have a name, the project?
Yeah, I mean, it was originally called Build a Better Toilet.
Oh, really? Build a
Yeah,
Better
that was
Toilet?
what it was.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of, now that challenge, because that was like for a year, they had a year to do it. Now the challenge is kind of done, and the Gates Foundation has funded and seeded the projects that actually ended up doing what they needed to do. So it really was a challenge. Like, these groups had to come up with something that met this criteria, the set criteria.
And are you working for one of these groups now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now the group, for the most part now, is RTI, but it's a huge collaboration from folks in the Triangle and other universities across the United States, and some folks in. It's very collaborative, and some folks in Canada, I believe, and obviously RTI has international offices as well. So it is
Right, because you've been traveling back and forth to India a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep, and for the most part, they hired me on to do their website from there, which makes sense.
This is why we were going to talk to Tad about coding originally.
Yeah.
And then we heard about the toilets.
Yeah, and it was a really it's been a huge blessing to be involved in it. It's nice when you build websites and you're a freelancer like I am. You tend to take the work as it comes, and it's always meaningful, and it's always meaningful to the client. But it's a rare case where you actually get to be part of a project this large and this meaningful that actually makes the world a better place. So yeah, the website's
super cool. What's the website at?
Yeah, it's a bettertoilet.org.
Huh.
And you can get all kinds of information on it. We update it regularly. We have a blog. Right now, it's funny, the traffic is mostly from India. It's like half India and half the
Sure,
U.S.
it's super important to them.
No, it is. It's vital.
What about if you can't read English? Is there some kind of... Do you guys convert the text or something?
No. And most of the places actually where we're deploying our toilet, English is either a primary language or it's a very close second. So it's not that much of a barrier from that part, from that standpoint. But
fantastic. Well, that's a really cool story, man. Josh, now you're in on the toilets thing, right? Amazing.
Yeah.
What people are doing in Durham that you don't even know about. I mean, there are so many people who are very high profile in Durham doing great work, but there are also so many people who are under the radar in Durham doing great work. It's amazing. I mean, we're thrilled at the Clarion content to be able to bring people those kind of stories. And, just for the record, Tad did our website too, or a lot of the backbone of it for us, from our WordPress theme, and it's been helping us a bunch on that kind of thing.